He risked everything for the Apache beauty, and lost his heart. Chapter 1: The Rescue. The sun dipped low over the horizon, painting the New Mexico sky in streaks of crimson and gold. The land stretched wide, untamed and raw, where silence was broken only by the whisper of wind through mesquite and the distant cry of a hawk. Ethan Callahan rode his chestnut stallion along the dry arroyo, eyes sharp as always. A cowboy by trade and a drifter by choice, he had learned long ago that the West demanded vigilance. Men could vanish in these canyons without a trace, and sometimes the law was too far to matter. He tugged the brim of his hat lower, squinting at something unusual up ahead. Broken branches. A torn scrap of fabric caught on mesquite thorns. His gut tightened. Someone had passed this way in a hurry. Moments later, he heard it, the muffled sound of struggle. A cry, soft yet filled with defiance. Ethan spurred his horse forward. In a small clearing, he found them, two outlaw riders dragging a young woman toward their campfire. Her wrists were bound, her long raven-black hair tangled and loose, falling across her face. Even beneath dirt and bruises, her beauty struck him like a blow. She wasn't just any woman. Her skin, her dress, the turquoise beads around her neck told him she was Apache. One outlaw shoved her down. "You'll fetch a good price," the man sneered. Before Ethan had time to think, his hand went to his Colt. A single shot rang out, clean and sharp. The outlaw dropped. The other turned, eyes wide, reaching for his rifle. Ethan's stallion charged, hooves pounding, and with one practiced move Ethan slammed into the man, knocking him flat. When the dust settled, silence reigned again. The only sound was the woman's quick, uneven breathing. Ethan dismounted slowly, careful not to frighten her further. He sheathed his gun and raised his hands to show peace. "You're safe now," he said gently. His voice, deep and steady, carried a warmth he hadn't felt in years. Her dark eyes lifted to him, suspicious yet searching. She did not answer right away. Her lips parted as though unused to English. Then she whispered, "Why, you help me?" Ethan swallowed. He wasn't sure himself. Maybe because no one had helped his sister the day raiders took her years ago. Maybe because something in the woman's gaze stirred something buried inside him. "You didn't deserve what they meant to do," he finally said. "No one does." She looked away, trembling. Ethan knelt and cut the ropes from her wrists. The marks were raw and angry against her skin, and he felt a rush of anger toward the men lying lifeless in the dirt. She drew her hands close to her chest, as though guarding herself. Then, with quiet strength, she said, "My name is Ayanna." Ethan tipped his hat. "Ethan Callahan." Their eyes met. For a fleeting moment, the world around them, the setting sun, the shadows of the canyon, the bodies cooling in the dust, seemed to fade. There was only the cowboy and the Apache beauty, bound together by fate. But fate was never simple. Ethan knew that by helping her, he had stepped into a dangerous path. The outlaws wouldn't be the only ones after her. And Ayanna, though saved, carried secrets that could put his life, and his heart, in more danger than bullets ever could. Still, as he helped her to her feet and she steadied herself against him, Ethan realized something deep inside. He would risk everything for her. Even if it meant losing the very heart he swore he'd keep guarded forever. The heart's surrender. The desert stretched endless and wild as Ethan and Ayanna rode together into the coming dawn. The land seemed to whisper of secrets, of blood spilled and lives lost, of resilience carved deep into stone. Ethan had spent years wandering these trails, yet now, with her pressed lightly against his back, it all felt different, like he was seeing the West for the first time. Ayanna rode silently, though he could feel her eyes on the horizon, searching for signs of pursuit. Her people had enemies, slavers, ranchers, even the soldiers stationed at Fort Bowie, who saw the Apache as little more than a problem to be solved. Ethan knew she was right. She wasn't safe yet. They stopped by a spring mid-morning. Ethan filled the canteens, then watched as Ayanna cupped water in her hands and drank. The sight stirred something in him. How graceful she was even in the simplest of movements. "You've ridden far without complaint," he said, trying to break the silence. She glanced at him, eyes sharp. "I have known worse journeys. Hunger, cold, chains. Today I ride free." Ethan felt a pang at her words. "That's not freedom. Not if you're still running." She studied him, her gaze steady as a hawk's. "And you, cowboy? You ride with no home, no wife, no children. Is that freedom, or are you running too?" The question hit harder than a bullet. Ethan turned away, tightening the cinch on his saddle to keep from answering. She had cut right through him, and he wasn't ready to face the truth. By late afternoon, smoke curled on the horizon. Ayanna stiffened. "That is near my people." Ethan scanned the valley with a practiced eye. Might be them. Might be trouble. They moved cautiously. As they drew closer, they saw what Ethan had feared, a slaver's camp at the valley's edge. Horses tied, wagons loaded, and prisoners bound, Apache women and children, guarded by 3 men laughing over a fire. Ayanna's face tightened with fury. "My people." Ethan put a hand on her arm. "We need to think. If we rush in, we'll both be dead." She bristled, her pride sharp as flint. "They are my blood. I cannot wait." "And I won't let you die," Ethan shot back. His voice was firm, but his grip gentle. "Trust me." Her dark eyes searched his, and something softened there. She gave the faintest nod. "Then we fight together." They waited until night. Shadows fell across the camp, and the outlaws grew careless. Ethan crept low, revolver ready, while Ayanna circled wide, her knife hidden in her palm. The first guard fell quick and silent under Ethan's shot. The second turned, cursing, but Ayanna leapt from the dark, slashing his arm and sending his gun clattering away. She moved with the speed of a mountain cat, fearless and fierce. Chaos erupted. The third slaver grabbed a child and pressed a knife to his throat. "One move and the brat dies," he snarled. Ethan froze, gun trained but finger still. He had seen too many men die, too many innocents caught in the crossfire. But Ayanna stepped forward, her voice low and steady in her native tongue. The child stilled, trusting her. The outlaw sneered. "She don't understand me, cowboy." Ethan's gaze hardened. "She understands enough." In that split second, Ayanna hurled a stone with pinpoint precision. It struck the man's temple, staggering him. Ethan's shot followed a heartbeat later, clean and final. The knife fell, the child bolted into freedom. Silence fell, broken only by the cries of the freed captives. Mothers clutched their children, women embraced Ayanna, thanking her in whispers. Ethan stood apart, chest heaving, watching her move among them like a spirit of hope. For the first time in years, he felt whole. That night, the Apache welcomed him with caution but gratitude. Fires burned, songs rose softly into the night. Ethan sat at the edge of camp, weary but unable to leave. He knew he was an outsider, but some part of him longed to stay. Ayanna came to him quietly, sitting at his side. Her presence was calm yet charged, like the stillness before a storm. "You saved them," she said simply. Ethan shook his head. "We saved them. Couldn't have done it without you." Her eyes lingered on his bandaged arm where the knife had grazed him. "You risked your life for my people." "Why?" He swallowed, staring into the fire. "Because once, I didn't. Raiders took my sister years ago. I was too far away, too late to stop it. I never forgave myself. I guess I've been trying to make it right ever since." Ayanna's gaze softened with something more than pity, understanding. She reached for his hand, her touch light yet grounding. "The past leaves wounds, but sometimes the Great Spirit sends someone to heal them." Ethan looked at her, truly looked. The firelight painted her face in gold, her eyes deep pools that held both pain and strength. 4 years, he had drifted, believing his heart was buried with his past. But here she was, awakening it with a single touch. "I don't know what comes after this," he admitted. "I don't belong to your people. I've got nothing to offer but myself." Ayana's lips curved in the faintest smile. "Then give me yourself. That is enough." The world seemed to still around them. Slowly, Ethan reached for her, and she didn't pull away. Their foreheads touched first, breath mingling, before his lips found hers, gentle, reverent, yet filled with a fire neither could deny. When they parted, she whispered, "Your heart is no longer yours, Ethan Callahan." And he knew she was right. Days passed. Ethan stayed with the Apache camp, helping rebuild what the slavers had broken. He hunted with their men, listened to their stories, learned words in their tongue. Yet always it was Ayana he sought, her laughter when the children teased her, her fierce eyes when she spoke of freedom, her quiet presence beside him at night. But danger lingered. Word of the slain slavers spread. Soldiers at the fort grew restless, blaming the Apache. One evening, riders appeared at the edge of camp, blue-coated cavalrymen, rifles gleaming. Their leader called out, "We're looking for a white man riding with these savages. Hand him over, and no blood needs spill." The Apache bristled. Ethan rose, stepping forward before they could answer. "I'm the man you're after. But these people aren't your enemy." Ayana grabbed his arm, her eyes blazing. "No, Ethan. You saved us. We will not give you away." He looked at her, heart twisting. "If I stay, they'll burn this camp. Too many will die." Tears shimmered in her eyes, but her voice was firm. "Then I go with you." Ethan's chest tightened. He had spent a lifetime alone, but now, for the first time, someone was willing to risk everything for him. "No," he whispered, brushing his hand against her cheek. "Your place is here. With your people." "And you?" she asked, voice breaking. He pressed his forehead to hers, their breaths mingling one last time. "I'll carry you with me, Ayana. Always." The soldiers seized him, bound his hands, and dragged him away. Yet as the camp faded behind him, Ethan felt no defeat. He had risked everything, and though he had lost his freedom, he had found his heart in her. And some things, he knew, could never be taken.